In Dark Souls 3, each class starts with around 400 HP. And that's a bit too much, don't you think? What if I went and modded my game files, giving me slightly less HP? Oh, let's just say, I don't know, 1. That sounds like a good amount, right? I mean, who really needs more than that? Just don't get hit, it's that easy. Will I be able to beat the game with 1 health? Or will my sanity shatter first? Let's find out. And before we start, I kept a tally on how many times I died total throughout the whole run, and I will reveal it at the end, so if you have a guess, leave it in the comments. Also like and sub if you're cute. I couldn't figure out how to mod the actual character health, so I settled for making the life ring, multiplying my base health by 0.002%. And the reason I'm wearing this outfit is because of this comment right here. I chose the Assassin starting class because it's the only class that starts with the Spook spell, which I will be using to navigate through areas easier. For those that don't know, the Spook spell basically just negates any fall damage up to a certain extent. Oh, I bet I messed that up. Alright. Boss 1 down. The boss run to Vordt is a shining example of why Spook was so helpful in this run. By jumping off of these rooftops, you're able to get to them with like minimal enemy interactions, meaning it's a whole lot easier to not die by going this route. I'm surprised that proc didn't kill me, I thought that did damage. No, man. I looked it up, and it is supposed to do damage. The wiki says it deals 11% of your max HP with an additional flat 85, but since the game can't take 11% of 1 HP, it just freaks out and doesn't do any damage at all. Does no damage at all. I'm kind of committed to it though. I kind of have to finish them off fire bombs. Or not. Alright, GG's Vordt. That wasn't too bad. It only took me like 7 tries-ish. I'm gonna go ahead and allot all my Estus to Ashen. Originally, the plan was just to go full strength build, swing and kill everything. But now that I'm thinking it over, I'm probably gonna invest into some magic kind of build to make life easier. So the question now is, do I try and get Dancer? I think I'm gonna give it a shot. At least a couple of them. Okay. Alright, one more time. One more time. Man. Alright, I'm moving on. Greatwood wasn't that bad. I just died a couple times because I'm dumb and wouldn't pay attention. I'd get smacked by an ad that ran behind me, or I'd get hit by his AoE juice pit. Just dumb stuff. let's go, man. Heart's beating a little bit on that one. Now that I'm done with Greatwood, I get a spell that actually does some damage. I get my go-to sword, help Onion Man fight his demons, and then I finally get Flynn's Ring to boost my damage output. The boss run to Crystal Sage was not a very fun experience. There's a billion enemies you gotta duck and weave, and it just takes forever to get there. And the boss itself wasn't too great either, especially during the second phase. Dealing with the clones is annoying enough in the first place, but when you have like 5 different dudes shooting crystals at you, and you can't get hit by a single one, it's a whole nother level. The right, I think? Please don't f this up. Oh, thank God. I didn't know how much more that I could handle. Just getting into the chapel was a whole struggle of itself. It took probably an hour just to get through to the first shortcut, and after dying over and over and over, just even getting to the place, I was finally able to fight the Deacons, which I died to over and over and over and over again. Every boss and every spot in this game that has multiple enemies doing multiple things at the same time was just a straight up nightmare for me, and I could barely even cope with it. But with the Deacons, I finally managed to pull through. Alright, don't mess it up. Oh, let's go, dude. That took way longer than it should have. Navigating through the poison swamp wasn't too bad for the most part. I picked up the dagger from the old lady at the shrine, and that helped quite a bit due to its weapon art. And its weapon art is a dash dodge, which lets you move faster when in deep sludge. So I was pretty much just zooming around the whole place, not really getting slowed down by anything. The biggest problem that I encountered in this area was just, the poison. Because if the poison procs once, I'm immediately dead. So eventually I did have to go and get the poison bulbs to help mitigate this. But it wasn't much of a struggle. Abyss Watchers wrecked me for a bit, because in the second phase, I would always forget that most of his swings have a giant hitbox of fire around them. So I would dodge the attack, barely get hit by the fire, and then my ass was back at the bonfire. To get around this, I shifted away from being so melee heavy, and I started to use my magic more, and it worked like a charm. Oh, come on. Is this it? Can I do it? Let's go. GG. The catacombs weren't too bad to run through because I didn't use the normal route. I used Spook so I could jump off the side and avoid the invisible skeleton that rolls at you, because for the life of me, I am unable to dodge that dude's attacks. Spook also gets rid of the audio on your character's footsteps, so I was able to sneak past most enemies without attracting their aggro. Wolnir is Wolnir. Not much to say about him, considering how easy he is for the most part. Although I am sad to say, I didn't get him first try, because he auto-summoned his skeletons, and I was not paying attention to that fact. Oh, come on. So unfortunate, I didn't get it the first time. After Wolnir, I went back to the Poison Swamp to get the Golden Scroll so I could give it to Orbeck, who I forgot to mention earlier. This allows me to purchase the spell Hidden Body, which, well, you can probably guess what it does. This spell, combined with Spook, pretty much let me full run through areas with a dense enemy population without triggering any of their aggro. Although I will say, the spell does not last a very long time. After clearing my way through Irithyll, it was time to fight Pontiff. And oh boy was I excited to fight Pontiff. After a complete defeat, I needed someone easy to bully. So I went on my way to Yhorm. On my way there though, I discovered another bugged interaction with having 1 HP. What the f- That should do damage, right? Alright, hold on. Alright, but if I put the ring back on, this will do 0. So I didn't even have to be using Spook the whole time. Alright, let's go ahead and first try Yhorm. Make myself feel better. Hi, Yhorm. What? Dude, come on. So robbed. There we go. You, Yhorm. With Yhorm out of the picture and a couple more levels on my side, I went back to try Pontiff again, which didn't work out too well for me. I got sick of him and decided to give Dancer a shot, which didn't work out too well for me either. When I got sick of Dancer, I would give Pontiff another shot. When I got sick of Pontiff, I would give Dancer another shot. And then I just kind of continued this cycle for a while. These bosses were passing me around like a blunt, and I was just going crazy. So eventually, I decided to completely get rid of my magic and go full melee, because magic is for sissies anyway. And then I decided I would only do Dancer until I beat her. And what do you know? It wasn't enough. I kept dying on repeat to Dancer. So eventually, I pulled out my tried and true method of stripping everything off and I gave that a whirl. And it still wasn't enough. But then, after countless deaths, a miracle happened. Oh, jeez, man. I couldn't take much more of that. After that absolute beatdown from Dancer, I head through Lothric Castle to slay the Dragon Slayer armor. This boss was harder for me than it really should have been, and the biggest issue for me wasn't even the dragons on the side shooting stuff at me, which is like the part you would probably expect to be the issue, right? The real issue for me was all of his shield bash moves. For some reason, my tiny little monkey brain just couldn't dodge them for the longest time. And the thing that was worse than that wasn't even a part of the boss fight, it was just getting back to the boss fight. The elevator going up to DSA takes so long. Let's just sit here together and experience what I had to experience multiple times. With DSA gone, the only way to progress was to go back to Pontiff, which again was another boss which I struggled on the easy part. I had no issue dealing with the clones, I just couldn't get them to phase 2 to even deal with the clone. The fact that they didn't hit is fucking criminal. Oh, it's over. Let's fucking go, dude. Not even hard. Like at all.
I'm 300. Finally complete.
Close enough. Aldrich was one of the only bosses in this run that actually made me legitimately salty the entire time I was fighting him. This is mostly because I was just getting constantly RNG boned by his moveset, and when I got good RNG, I kept dying in the dumbest ways. Like standing in the fire that he summons, or just not dodging at all.
Start of the phase, he's very unlikely to use arrows. If Aldrich uses arrows at any point, simply bone out.
I like how the thing says it should be unlikely to do it, and it's done it every time you started.
Time. Wow, he's very unlikely to do this, by the way.
Yeah, I don't think that's correct at all.
What the f is that? Already teleported away. Okay. No. Second run's already doomed. Get f***ed, you piece of shit. This f***ing boss. Oh look, it's gonna make me fight Dancer now. Oh look, I already did that forever ago. Fucking hate this game. I changed my mind after this. It sucks. If you couldn't tell at this point, I was molding pretty hard. I didn't even realize how salty I was until I started editing this, which I think is kind of funny. Anyway, I was able to get through the Grand Archives with a fair bit of ease, but this gargoyle right here screwed me like 5 times in a row. I think I was just so mentally worn down from Aldrich, and just tired in general, that I just let him wail on me a bit for no reason. When fighting Twin Princes, I pretty much exclusively died in Phase 2, because I really sucked at avoiding the projectiles the younger brother was throwing while getting rushed down by the older brother. Especially at the start of Phase 2. There's so many times the Phase 2 cutscene would finish, and I would be pretty much immediately back at the bonfire. Let's go, dude. One boss left. Not gonna lie, I'm going in pretty confident. I'm saying sub 10 tries. Easily. I really wish confidence translated into actual skill here. This old boy was just nowhere even close to sub 10. I don't even know why I died so many times, and I got hit by literally every single move that Soul of Cinder has. I mean, I've done casual runs where I've beat him hitless before, but I think having legit 1 HP just psyched me out mentally too much, and it just made me play like trash. Somehow, even though a central theme of this run is that I need to be more patient, I still didn't play patiently. My brain was just like, I have an R1 and I must spam. Also, this dude's input reading is so scummy. There's so many moves that he has that have follow-ups, but only if you hit a button. I was trying to learn and see when it was safe to hit him, and I would think it would be safe to hit him, just for him to hit me with a conditional follow-up. There's also one move that I must have legit died to at least 50 times, and it's the one where he swings, has a good delay on it, and then swings again. I just couldn't cope with the delay, and it's timed perfectly, so if you roll, you can't roll again because it just roll catches you. After what felt like a full workday of getting clapped back and forth by Cinder, I decided to respec back into Magic, as it was probably the only way I wouldn't end up throwing my computer across the room and setting it on fire. I was so desperate at the end that I had to recruit my friends in Discord to be my cheerleaders. So enjoy some small talk while I beat this boss up.
I got worried for a second. I was like, oh no. It happened. Alright, we'll tell Allie to get on.
She's coming. I don't think Soul Arrow is a spell to go with.
That works.
Oh, he just... Yeah, his AI is not programmed to deal with magic.
Yeah, it is. You just dodged that.
Not on purpose.
Your mom's on dealing with magic.
Oh, now he can dodge.
Coach.
Why are you streaming this instead of Sword Art?
Coach.
He doesn't have the account. My account.
Well, why are you streaming?
Coach.
We're trying to watch Sword
Hey,
Coach.
can you stop interrupting us, please?
Trying to game. Leave me alone.
Art. Put a shirt on!
The fuck up! You don't get it.
Stop running away and put a fucking shirt on!
You just don't get it.
Even more.
I have 1 HP.
Wham, my HP's low, wham.
It's not low. I fucking modded it to be 1.
Wham, I made the game harder, now I'm bitching, wham.
I'm not bitching at all. I'm being bitched at.
Wham, Johnny's gonna milk my wham.
Ew.
Classic Johnny move.
Johnny, leave my alone.
You're not even hurting him.
Don't you just hate it when you're halfway through a hand job and you find out you're not cousins with them? What the f? That's something Johnny would say.
I feel like he said it before to us recently. Maybe even last night when we were watching SAO.
Johnny said that exact sentence, yeah.
Fucking hitting him with cotton balls?
It's the weakest spell in the game, Soul Arrow.
It's actually not.
Is it not the weakest? What's worse than Soul Arrow?
Baron Dart.
Oh yeah.
Baron Dart did 6 damage to Dancer. Coach.
Is your back hurting or something? Or why do you like pain in Dark Souls?
Hey, I got him. Let's go. Oh. Hey, he dodged. Hey, look, now I got him.
If he would have dodged and killed you, that would have.
I really thought I was gonna die. Trapped in the little area right there.
How many chicken nuggets is too many chicken nuggets?
And just like that, Dark Souls 3 with 1 HP was complete. This was a mistake.